This has probably not happened in at least 23 years. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. I'd like to introduce you first, Miss Mitchell, flown by the Minnesota wing. This B-25 is probably one of the most authentically restored B-25s in existence. If you get a chance to look inside, please do. Next in line is the Devil Dog, probably one of the most famous B-25s. It's actually painted up as a PBJ, the Marine Corps version of the B-25. And you cannot go to an air show anywhere in the country without seeing someone wearing a Devil Dog t-shirt. Let's hear it for him. All the way from San Marcos, Texas, the Yellow Rose. Yeah, let's hear it for him. Yellow Rose is going to be a hangar mate with That's All Brother, the C-47 that led the D-Day invasion. That wing is going to take care of getting that airplane restored. Number 6 back here is Show Me. They came all the way from Missouri. You saw that TBM fly in the Navy Showcase? That's one of their airplanes as well. And that airplane is housed in an authentic World War II hangar up in St. Louis, Missouri. So welcome, Show Me. The number 4 position here. This is the airplane I said about 23 years. This airplane spent the last 23 years being restored by volunteers. Wow. All volunteers raising the money, working on this airplane to bring it back to flying condition. It is the only authentic PBJ in the world that flies. Congratulations, Southern California wing from Camarillo, California. And last, but certainly not least, all the way from Air Base, Arizona, this B-25 is actually a combat veteran serving in Corsicana, overseas. Please welcome Made in the Shade. Abby, they're all yours. Let me get off the runway, you get them started. Ladies and gentlemen, awesome. You are going to see and feel something really cool.
Imagine this on a carrier deck, on a boat.
gentlemen, this is the Guru Raid Showcase. We have 6 B-25s. This is what they would have looked like if they were on the carrier deck of the USS Hornet. Except instead of 6, there were 16 B-25s ready to go. As they warm up the engines, take you back to 1942. Everybody taxi out and do some, take off and do some passage for us while we talk about what was happening in 1942. The B-25s taxi out and prepare for what I think is going to be a very, very special showcase. We had planned for a gentleman to be with us on the stage here, Lieutenant Colonel Dick Cole. He's the last surviving veteran of the Doolittle Raid of the 80 Raiders, and he was the only one who was still around. Unfortunately, his health prevented him from being here today, but we were lucky enough to spend some time with him about 10 days ago to get his recollections of the Doolittle Raid. And we'll be hearing the description of the Doolittle Raid from Dick Cole himself in his own words. But before we can talk about the raid, we need to go back a little further, back to December 7th, 1941. That's the day of Pearl Harbor, the attack on Pearl Harbor. And between December 7th and April of 1942, when the Doolittle Raid took place, it was a very dark time in American history. We were suffering defeats in Europe, we were suffering defeats in the Pacific.
1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but will make it very certain that this form of treachery shall never again endanger us. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Congress, with overwhelming acclaim, then voted the declaration of a state of war, and the President signed it 3 hours after this historic scene.
In the intervening months between December 8th and when the Doolittle raid launched in April, the President was very adamant that he wanted some sort of strike back at Japan to let them know that we were definitely in the hunt. Amazingly enough, the idea for the Doolittle raid actually came from a submariner, from a commander on a submarine who had seen the B-25s taking off and landing from a naval air station, and the pilots tried to drop their landing gear on the Navy emblems. So when he saw that, and he realized that they could probably take off pretty quickly as well, so he suggested the idea of having a aircraft carrier be the launch point so the B-25s could get close to Japan. Because at that time, we didn't have an airplane like the Super Fortress behind us that would be able to reach Japan. Right now, our B-25s are running up, and they will be taking off in just a moment. Of his Doolittle Raiders, how to get the B-25s off the ground in the least amount of footage. Our B-25s will use as much runway as they need today, but they are on the takeoff roll right now. Got together with the Navy and decided that they would load the aircraft onto the USS Hornet in Alameda, California. And on April 1st, 1942, Dick Cole and their aircraft were lifted out of the orbital position. 16 airplanes, 16 B-25s. And the B-25 was a relatively new airplane at the time. Olive drab, a very dull color. That was the color that they were in when they were first delivered from the factory. Not the brilliant paint schemes that our airplanes have today. But as they left they went underneath the Golden Gate Bridge. Dick Cole said it was not only the first time that he was ever on the ship, but it was the first time he'd ever seen the ocean. They'd all volunteered for this So as they sailed up the Golden Gate Bridge, they really had no idea where they were going.